Do you guys see that? It thinks the wall is a person. So, that's weird. And I guess it's not going to go away. So, hey, 7th graders, I am so sorry that I'm gone on your first day of rotations. I will be back tomorrow. I am currently in Utah watching my best friend. She's on the Olympic bobsled team. And so I am watching her compete, and I'll be back tomorrow. Maybe my imaginary friend is here. I'm not sure. But anyway, tomorrow we will go over all of the art room things, but you guys are actually going to be able to get started on your very first project today.
So to get started, you guys are going to watch this video and then you'll be able to make your own project, and the sub will let you know where those materials are. So like I said, we're going to make art today and we'll continue this tomorrow, but then we'll go over some of those important questions that you have to.
For this project, you guys will be creating a name or initial design. So this one here, and I'll show you how to do this. This one here, the student's name initials are JG. And so you're going to kind of disguise those a little bit. So if you have a long name, you might only use your initials. If you have a shorter name, so the student name Flor, you can kind of see that it's disguised, F-L-O-R. She chose to do her entire name, okay? So I have pattern packets that kind of go along with this that will show you the different designs that you guys can use. You can make up your own, but I'm going to show you how to get started on this, okay? So to start with your piece of paper, you're going to want to start by just making your name or initials, okay? My last name is a little long, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to use this same example of that 4-letter word, okay? Name. So I'm just going to start by making large letters. You can do this with pencil first, then outline in black if you'd like. Or you can just go ahead with Sharpie if you trust yourself. So I'm going to actually overlap my letters a little bit, kind of make them uneven. But like I said, you guys can choose to do this how you want. Okay, so now once you have your name written down or your initials, or really what you are going to do is you are going to take a ruler and you are going to divide it up into sections, okay? Now, before I do this, well, you might not choose to use a ruler. This student just kind of did more of an abstracted pattern, kind of a squiggle line. This student kind of used triangle shapes, okay? This is an example of just how it's broken up in really, really organic, abstract ways. So that's another way you could take this on as well. So I'll show you a couple of different ways. So all you're going to do is just take your ruler and start dividing it up, okay? And you're going to cross over your name and the other letters. So you might have a specific pattern in mind. You might just kind of want to overlap. That's up to you. Maybe you want to do a combination of lines and kind of more squiggles. That's okay. I'll show you how you can kind of do that. It looks a little crazy right now, and you probably want to do this about 5 or 6 times. And now what you are going to do is you are going to fill in each shape with a different design pattern. So when I say each shape, each time it comes up and you see a enclosed space. So for instance, this area here is a different shape than this part here. So watch how I go in and start to fill in these patterns. So now you'd continue this on throughout the entire thing. I'm not going to show you all of it right now, but once you have each shape filled in with a different pattern, and so you can kind of see what I meant by shapes, like where these two met, they're totally different. Each time you get an enclosed space, you need to make it a different pattern, okay? Then you can use a variety of markers, Sharpies, colored pencils, whatever you choose to, and you can use a variety of those things to start filling some of those areas in how you choose to. So you might choose to use a combination of them. One thing I will say though, I would probably stay away from using crayons or oil pastels or some of those materials, just because these areas are going to be small and it's going to make it kind of hard to get inside, okay? If you are going to be using colored pencils, I do have some very nice colored pencils that you guys can use. I would encourage you guys to really focus on blending your colors together to get some really cool effects happening. So when I say that, don't just fill things in solid, try using a couple of different colors. So I'll show you that here. And you might have some of these having, like, if these have a lot of pattern in them, this one might be a little bit more open. So when I say with the colored pencils, you might start by starting with the blue, but then overlapping with a darker color that's kind of similar to it. So like this purple. And I'm going to continue to kind of layer those until I get this nice kind of creamy effect. So I don't have to press super hard, and it'll start to layer. So that might be something that you want to try out. So that here looks a lot more interesting than just a solid blue filled in like that. So play around with that a little bit. Use lots of colors. Think of some different patterns that you might want to use and just kind of work on filling that up for your name design. And I'll show you those examples again, and I'll have these to display. There's a ton of different ways that you can kind of go about this, different color combinations, and I can't wait to see what you guys create. Okay, so the materials you're going to be using are over here to add color. So black Sharpies are in this container here that you can use. Up here, so these are pencils if you need to borrow them. You just simply take them and put them back. Colored Sharpies are in here, and then underneath here is metallic Sharpies. You can also use these colored pencils underneath here that are separated out by color. If we walk around the corner past the drying rack, you're free to use the materials in these cupboards too. I have oil pastels and chalk out, so you don't want to use those, okay? But there are some markers in here that you guys can use. And there are some crayons in this container here. They're kind of separated out by colors, but you are free to use those. So those will be the materials that you guys will be using for this project.